welcome back to Geek Out SA. We're back and
we're already messing things up.
We're already messing things up.
We're off for 2 weeks and we forgot how to do this.
We forgot to, we're off for 2 weeks. It was crazy.
Are you doing okay over there, hon?
And I got it, so we're good. We're good. So
it's just so.
Just to let you know, we've been off for 2 weeks, so I'm really happy with that. We're finally back. First week, our producer got really sick, got the flu.
It's all Stuart's fault.
When he got the flu, he gave the flu to my computer, and my computer got a virus and died.
Yeah, but I came over second week and I tried to help to fix it.
Yes.
I think I broke it more. So.
Yeah. So I've actually rebuilt it. Hey, Fulgore, yes, long time no see. Thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping up with us.
And I sat on the couch and watched television while these two messed with all the technology because I was like, yeah, not going to do that. Not going to do it. I think some of it's
Let
all
us
the
know
dust.
if our audio is okay, if it's loud
of
enough
dust.
or whatnot. I don't know because we haven't tested it out since we made all the changes and
Since you've had to redo everything?
So
fun times.
But today we're talking about top 10 influential TV shows. So top 10. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I had to actually write mine down.
So yeah, we actually both wrote ours down. We don't know what's on each other's list.
No. So I'm curious to see, because you and I grew up in the same generation. If we're even close to one another, or
I wonder if we're close or not.
I doubt it because I think your idea of some geeky things are a little different than my idea of some geeky things, and I know for a fact that there are a couple of things on that list of yours. One with an X and one with a TW that I'm pretty sure that I don't have on my list because I don't like either of those shows, but you're enamored with both of them. So I'm gonna wait and see if they're on your list.
You didn't look at my list. Did you look at my list?
No. But, honey, I've been married to you for 18 years. I know what's on your list.
I don't know.
I should have put a bet down on what I thought was on your list.
And we're going from 10 to 1.
Yeah, we're going to go from 10 to 1.
10 to 1.
So, and I had some honorable mentions that I'll talk about after. So, my number 10.
You're number 10. Okay. Let's go with you.
So, my number 10 was the first show that I saw that really had like an alien life form in it, and it was about how somebody from like another planet would acclimate to our planet. So I really loved this show, and so for number 10 I picked Mork and Mindy.
Okay.
Because I thought for sure that was very much like, not only was it geeky because of that alien aspect, but just because of the way he acted and dressed. We kind of emulated that, and it kind of became, to me, it became a geeky icon. So for number 10, I picked Mork and Mindy.
Nano.
Yep. Mork from Ork. Nano.
Okay. Mine, you're going to probably see that a lot of mine are going to be like cartoons.
Oh, no, you can't do cartoons.
Yeah, that's a TV show.
No, come on. I thought we were going to do cartoons separately. Mine are non-cartoons. Mine are like actual TV shows.
I have
what?
TV shows, yeah.
You're the adult.
No, I thought we were going to do cartoons separately because cartoons is a whole different list for me.
Oh, it can be a whole different list, too. These are just going to be added to it.
Okay, well,
but
whatever.
Anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
So
I misunderstood.
My number 10... It was a really good one. I really liked Thundercats. So that was my number 10.
Thundercats would definitely be on my list of cartoons.
I wanted to be Lion-O with the Sword of Omens.
Yeah, I mean, Thundercats, duh. Like, obviously, that would be on the list of cartoons, for sure.
And we're talking the 1980 version of Thundercats?
Yes,
or the more
yes.
version?
No.
The original.
1980s version. Yeah, 1980s version. Okay, so a lot of yours are cartoons? That's not cool because I have
not a lot of them.
I have a totally different cartoons list because cartoons had like a different thing for me. So this was
I would have a different cartoons list than this.
Okay, all right. So then number 9 for me was kind of a look into what it meant to be a superhero, and what if all of a sudden you got to be a superhero. So number 9 for me is The Greatest American Hero.
That almost went on my list.
I cannot believe that's not
almost
on your
went
list.
on my list,
That's
yes.
not on your list.
That
I thought
almost-
for sure that was
yeah.
on your list. I didn't know if it would be as low down as I have it, but I thought for sure that would be on your list. We
Not
even
on my
own
list.
that, like,
Yeah.
not on
No,
your
no,
list.
that's not on my list.
I'm shocked. Okay, I'm pretty shocked. So
We're
what's...
we're talking about top 10, so I'm picking like
Yeah, this was a top 10.
this is
You
like
didn't
the
feel
cream of the crop.
You didn't feel like, well, I didn't pick any cartoons because cartoons would have played differently in here
Yeah.
for me. But I felt like, yeah, I mean, when he's trying, I still remember like him trying
No,
to
I
learn
really- yes.
how to use his powers and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, I loved that show. I thought for sure that was going to be on your list. Okay, so what is your number 9?
It almost, I thought about it, but I was
I
like,
thought for sure we would
no.
have a match.
My number 9 is X-Files.
No way that's your number 9.
It's my
No
number
way
9.
that's not like your number 2 or something.
No, it's my number 9.
Shut your face. I am
Yeah.
in shock right now.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's better ones.
For you, there's better than X-Files.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
better than X-Files.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that also including the extended seasons that have been just recent, or is it just the old stuff?
Mostly the old stuff. I
I
like
don't know.
I like
The new stuff is getting pretty good.
I like the new stuff. The new stuff
it's
is pretty
getting
good.
there, yeah.
Yeah, for a start, it was like, I'm not watching this
Yeah.
anymore, but they've had a couple of Monster of the Week ones, which would be...
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, I can tell you just from my list, X-Files is not on my list because I was not a
Yeah.
fan. My dad loved it,
Ge-
but I was not a
Geeky
fan.
Hoodie says, "I love the Greatest American Hero."
Yes,
Yeah, it was
Hoodie,
really, it
yes.
was really good. Yes, it would probably be maybe.
In your honorable mentions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but since watching the new X-Files, I almost want to go back because my dad watched it. Like I didn't watch it with him, but he always watched it. But I would almost go back because I'm kind of starting to connect with the characters and stuff and really like it. So I would almost go back because of the new ones. So
I had a huge crush on Gillian Anderson.
I mean, like, who didn't, right? Back in the day. Like, everybody did. Geeky boys alike. Okay, number 8. You've got to have number 8 on your list. You've just got to have my number 8 somewhere on your list. Okay.
Okay.
It's all about, like tech and being, not so much tech, but, like being able to get your way out of any situation, like, making things. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
MacGyver.
Yes.
MacGyver is my number 8.
It's not on my list.
Shut up! What planet are you from?
It's not
What is
on my
wrong with
list.
you?
It's not on my list.
MacGyver, really.
I really like that show and I watched it a lot, but like I said, I was picking my top 10.
But like MacGyver, like he can make something out of anything.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
for
I,
me, like,
I
he's-
really like the show.
He's one of the things that I really like about that I try to push with my kids in my classroom is those skills of being able to like think through something and design something or make something that helps you. Like, I don't know. He still resonates with me today.
But we're talking top 10 influential.
Yeah, that influenced like
so
who I
not
am.
necessarily top 10 I like the most, but top 10 most influential
To me.
to me.
Yeah,
well,
those
for
who
what I think.
influenced how I still am today. Still trying to like look at a paper clip and a rubber
But I'm
band
talking
and like.
about how I perceived it to influence society.
No, influencing society is different because then I would have picked Doctor Who, and I don't even like Doctor Who. Doctor Who influences society. That's a top 10
but
geeky
it's something.
show.
It's something that we like, that we think influences.
Well, I definitely think MacGyver influenced
Yeah,
society.
no, no,
We
no,
used to
I
take
totally
our
do.
toasters apart and try to make new things, and that may be why we have some of the robots and stuff that we have today. Because I think MacGyver was definitely influential. I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your number 8?
Voltron.
I knew Voltron was going to be. Now that once you
Voltron,
said
because-
cartoons,
well,
I was
when you
like,
go
well,
Voltron, because that's like our
What-
first
Are we talking Lion Force or are we talking Car Force?
Lion, of course.
Yeah, because that's
The original.
All, that's all
yeah.
you guys watched over here.
Yeah.
Lion. No, we watched the Car Force in Australia first. So.
oh really?
Well, that was my first exposure to anime, and I didn't even know.
I don't think I've ever watched Voltron.
I think it was really cool. I mean, that's where we get Power Rangers from.
No, I mean I knew it
That
was going to
same
be on your
thing.
list. Once you said cartoons, I knew that one was going to be on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew Voltron was a thing for you. Power Rangers. Is that on? Never mind. I'm not going to go forward. We're just going to go in order.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to have any of the same ones I have. Okay, that's okay.
That's a good thing.
Number 7. Number 7 for me I almost like pushed higher, but then when I thought about it, I was thinking about it from the perspective of like who I am as a geek and how I see geek culture. So for me,
it's just how we interpret it. Yeah, go ahead.
So for me, number 7 is almost like cosplay a new character every week kind of thing. You get to be a new persona. So number 7 for me is Quantum Leap. I totally picked Quantum Leap.
That should have been on my list.
Like,
yeah, that should have been on my
list. I don't know how you couldn't pick Quantum
I missed
Leap.
that
like,
one.
That's the biggest one, and he's
that should have been on my list.
Somebody,
yes.
and like they have the tech, and they use the computer and look things up, and I don't know. For me, Quantum Leap was like, I had a hard time putting it as far as 7, but when I wrote down some of the other shows, I was like, oh yeah, that one's kind of more. So for me, Quantum Leap was number 7. Yeah, definitely.
I'm actually just rewatching that now, and it's got a lot of socially aware situations.
Yes,
that you would think, holy crap, back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he came back as a Down syndrome kid?
Twice.
Yeah. He
did that twice. The same one.
Same kid, and then he was in several different mixed couples.
Hey, Mr. Turkey Leg, how's it going?
Yeah. So lots of different things. So what's your number 7?
So number 7, really influential in me, and really influential to a lot of people out there. Transformers has got to be, like, the movie was awesome.
I cried when Optimus died.
You like
cried.
You like felt for those characters.
Yes.
And they were
Bumblebee,
robots.
like, you wanted Bumblebee to be your best friend. Like, he was the coolest ever. You cry when Optimus dies. You, like, hated Starscream. You wanted to, like, reach into the thing and with his screechy voice and just, like, strangle him. Yeah, like, Transformers was the bomb.com. That would definitely be on my cartoons list. For sure.
Yeah.
Like, way, way up there.
It'd be on mine, too, so.
Yeah.
And playing with the toys, because I remember when I got Optimus Prime.
Oh, must be nice to buy Optimus Prime.
For my birthday.
We got Hot Wheels and pretended they could transform.
See, we got pre-Transformers. I got all the Transformers before they were Transformers. They were just transforming robots. Because
really?
Because of our closeness to Japan, we had, like, I already had a Starscream, and I already had it was called Astro Magnus.
Wow.
But it was Shockwave.
Oh, really?
And we had one of the cars, we had a couple of the mini bots, and we had one of the Dinobots, and they had like little guys that could sit inside them because they were all made in Japan. There were all these different companies making them all, and somebody went, we'll combine them all together into one big thing. So that's why you had all these crazy things, because it was all different companies. But we had a lot of stuff before it actually was Transformers, because they were existing toy lines in Japan.
Before the show.
Before the show.
How weird is that? Very cool. It's interesting to know where things come from. All right, so number 6. Number 6, we're getting close to the top 5.
Yes.
So this is an interesting thing to know about me. I don't usually pick shows that have to do with female characters. A lot of the time I always associated with male characters. That was just how I was growing up. We grew up in that time of machismo, and, you know, the male characters were it. But there's a couple of female characters on my list at 5 and 6. So at number 6, this female character was like, you know, wearing armor, having a shield, kicking booty. Like, she was out there taking names, and I just love that. So for number 6, I put Xena, Warrior Princess. Because for me, like, it, you know, it was so many women in there, and she was just, and then Joxer was, like, too funny, and, like, I don't know. I loved Xena. I loved everything about that.
And a lot of people played it like, Gal Gadot was the first, you know, strong female
Lucy
actor
Lawless was.
Lucy Lawless was one of the first ones.
Yeah, I really looked up to Lucy Lawless. She was the first time.
Linda Carter.
Yeah.
Even before that. So there's not as much.
Linda Carter was a little more like feminine though in her being of Wonder Woman. Like Lucy Lawless would rip your head off, it seemed like. You know what I mean? Like she was intimidating, she was scary, she didn't take anything from anybody. She looked good in her armor. So like for me, I thought that was the bomb.
See, because I'm older, it would be Bionic Woman for me.
Oh really?
Because I come from a generation kind of behind you guys. So
no, I don't even remember. Like, I very vaguely remember, like, the $1 Million Man. Like, it almost made my list because I very vaguely, like, remember watching that with my parents. But I had to have been, like, 5 or 6. So it's kind of there in the back. And I think maybe we saw Bionic Woman, like, maybe on syndication because my parents did like those kinds of things. But, yeah, I don't remember it as... I remember the title and a little bit about it, but I don't remember as much.
That one didn't last very long, did it? Very short.
Because it was a spin-off, so.
Yeah. So what is your number 6?
My number 6, which I really like, was Batman Beyond.
I'm kind of getting tired of your cartoons. Like, I feel like this is not
Well,
cool.
after this, they're not all cartoons.
I feel like this is not cool. Like,
They're not
Batman Beyond
cartoons.
is a good cartoon, but still, it's a cartoon.
And that was the first time I was able to see Batman as something more than just a brooding old guy.
Yeah, he was a crotchety old guy.
Yeah, he was old, like, but he was kind of the mastermind in that one. He was kind of like Mr. Behind the Scenes. Like, you were still seeing, like, how all of those years had made him who he was or whatever.
The new Batman, he was cool and he had more tech. A lot more tech.
Yeah. I liked
He's probably
that.
a lot more agile.
I
than
liked that as a
ever
TV
was.
show, but really, that one influenced you? Because you're not even a Batman guy.
Then I was.
Like, I'm super surprised by these that he's picking. I thought for sure there would be other things on his list. Oh, I didn't know you were picking cartoons, so I think that's one of the reasons why I think your list is different than I thought it was going to be, because I thought we were all going to just pick, like, live-action stuff.
Oh, yeah. What about wrestling? Wrestling is pretty good.
No, it's not. It's horrible.
Back in the day with the Von Erichs?
Oh, the Von Erichs were good.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. And Rowdy Piper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And Kamala.
Those were
Andre
pretty
the
good.
Giant.
Andre the Giant, he was pretty good. Yeah.
But those weren't really shows. That's just entertainment.
Yeah, so like one of the questionable ones I had that I wasn't sure that I almost put on my list, but I wasn't sure about was like Jeopardy, because I was like, it kind of made me geeky, like smart geeky, because I always like, you know, wanted to answer the questions, and we watched it all the time, and I wanted to get the information right.
You've got to remember, we come from a time where there was no internet, so to learn things, you had to read a book or go to look it up at an encyclopedia. So stuff like Jeopardy and other game shows, you could learn.
Right, yeah, and then I would try to remember it so that if we like saw the episodes again or whatever, then I could answer the question. I was like, I remember that information. Okay.
You're 5.
Okay, on number 5, I kind of cheated. I cheated a lot because it's actually 2 shows, but in my mind, these 2 shows are one show because of so much of like the crossover. So I picked these 2 shows, but to me they're one show, and it's Buffy and Angel. My number 5 is Buffy and Angel.
I'm out.
No, come on, dude. Buffy and Angel. Willow and...
I
like, there was so much geekery in Buffy and Angel. So much. And there was so much camp, but there was also, like, you know, all of this slaying of vampires, and then Angel is the vampire, and he's like, all right,
that's a good pick.
And Spike, and, like, for me... that was almost a little higher, but there's a couple of things that once I explain them, you'll know why Buffy and Angel is number 5. And yes, I know that's 2 different shows, but to me, that's one show. Because for me, it was like the whole universe was together.
So she cheated too, but I didn't cheat on this one. Number 5 for me is The Flash.
The current Flash?
Yes.
You can't pick current shows that influenced you. You're already grown up.
He's still being influenced.
I'm still being influenced.
He still hasn't grown up.
That's not cool.
I told you it wasn't going to be the same that we had. But no, the Flash. That's one of the.
Even at least you could have picked the Flash from.
Oh, I like that one too, but I
was
like
pretty
this
good.
one better.
That was pretty good.
That one was a lot more camp than the old one was a lot more camp.
It was
than
more
this
camp.
one is.
Yeah.
I think it's done a lot for superhero shows
Definitely would agree.
compared to where they used to be.
I would definitely agree. Yeah.
I mean, even better than Arrow.
Yes.
And Arrow is pretty good.
Yeah. No, I think definitely The Flash has very much helped mainstream, even as much as the movies, if not more so.
And it's not my number one, but it's still. Look, we got this from somebody at the mall. Yeah, YouTube, yay.
You feeling okay?
No.
So
yeah,
I feel
mine's
like
a Flash.
I feel like you're kind of cheating.
How is that cheating?
I don't know. I thought we were supposed to talk about things like that influenced us as the geek we are today. I don't think we discussed this very well because now I feel like my idea is different than your idea.
That's okay.
Well, we'll redo it in another 6 months and it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be different.
We're
It
getting
may
better.
change.
We took notes this time. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of superhero shows, I think if you talk about things that influenced us, so I'm thinking about like when I'm growing up, something that influenced me, at number 4 is The Hulk with Lou Ferrigno. I watched the heck out of that show all the
Yeah, I watched
time.
it.
Walking down the road all sad,
Mhm.
hulking out and saving people. Like for me, that was my first big exposure to a comic book character. I didn't really read comic books, some with some of my friends, but when I was real little, junior high, elementary school, not really. We didn't read comic books. Not until I was in high school did I really kind of read some comic books. So for me, that was my first, aside from seeing like Superman movies.
For me, not so much.
No?
I mean, I liked it.
I loved that show.
I don't think I'd put that in my top 10, especially at number 5.
And number 4, we're at number 4.
Or we're at number 4.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have put that at number 4.
Well, for me, that just totally influenced how I saw comic book characters. And I got to see like every week, and I got to see both sides. You know, here
Right.
he's kind of troubled, and he's trying to do the best he can, but then he hulks out, but he's still helping people. I don't know. To me, that really influenced like how I thought of superheroes, because especially it was in a time when the Superman movie came out, and I was really thinking of that, you know, good old American boy, kind of nice, caring for everything.
An interesting fact about the Hulk. Did you know the Hulk wasn't originally supposed to be green?
Gray, right?
It's gray.
Yeah.
It's just the printing process that they were doing, the gray that they printed on the comic book looked green.
Yeah.
So.
It's the way I can teach the electromagnetic spectrum in science, because kids still know that you turn into the Hulk. So when I talk about gamma waves, even nowadays, kids understand that. I'm like, gamma waves bad, make you Hulk.
Back to your Buffy thing, Folgore says, Buffy was good, the practical effects were amazing, and Joss Whedon, what more can we say? So, yeah,
Yes,
no, I
speaking
mean...
of Joss Whedon, I think I know what's on your list, but anyway, keep going.
Yeah, but you could also point
you
out
don't.
that Buffy was a spin-off of a pretty bad movie.
Oh my god, the movie was terrible.
Oh, that was a
Oh my god, the
horrible
movie was
movie, yeah.
horrible. It was the worst thing ever. Yeah. So when my dad first started watching Buffy, I was like, yeah, all right, I'm not watching that trash. Yeah, I got sucked in. I really liked it. I watched the heck out of that show. All right, so you're number 4.
My number 4. Smallville. Smallville is my number 4.
Like Smallville is spectacular.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you were going to go Lois and Clark.
No.
Because
I
I didn't
think
know.
Lois and Clark was a little too campy.
I loved Lois and Clark. It was the best.
I think Smallville just was a little more cerebral.
Smallville was really great,
And you
and
get to
probably the
see
best
what
Lex
he's
Luthor we've
like.
ever seen.
Yeah.
To me, in my opinion, I thought in the Smallville universe, best Lex
When
Luthor
I
we've
say
ever
him,
seen.
I see
Yeah, same. Yeah, I would agree.
him
He-
as Lex.
For me, that was.
I would love for him to play Lex again.
Yeah, me too.
Sometime.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with Smallville. I thought Smallville was spectacular. Again, it was a little forward.
And then you never ever get to actually see him in his suit till the very end, and you just catch a glimpse of it, and barely any of that. It's a reflection on windows.
Yeah.
But yeah, but some of the
I just
things
like how it
behind
was real
it,
Scooby-Doo-ish too.
yeah.
Like Chloe and all of them, like it was very Scooby-Doo. So, oh darn, I should have put Scooby-Doo.
That was my
cartoon.
number 4.
So that was your number 4.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting down. Top 3.
Top
3. Top 3. So I'm wondering if you know what my top 3 are. You've got to know.
My top 3 aren't cartoons.
Okay. I think I know what maybe 2 of your top 3 are. Maybe. I may be surprised. Okay. So for me, top 3 goes like way back to when I was a kid. And I wanted to be one of the characters, although I kind of was like in love with him too. And I loved the little dog pet, Muffet. And it was the first like scary like robot people that we saw with the Cylons. So for me, Battlestar Galactica, the original one, was very, very influential. It was the first time that I really got into that like space conflict and sci-fi and everything like that. So for me, the original Battlestar Galactica was huge. That was a huge thing.
And it was cool how it had a lot of the hints of the Egyptian stuff in there. There's more so in the new that they really talk about it.
And I've never seen any of the new ones.
In the original, it was just kind of hints, not really anything that was like right out there. Like the helmets were one thing.
For me, I was little, so I think of it from a different perspective. Like if I went back and watched it probably as an adult.
Yeah, you're going to look at it and go, what did I see in that?
Yeah. But for me, like when I was little, I wish I could live there and I could like be on the ship and like, you know, they were fighting the Cylons and I don't know. For me, when I was little, that was my very first kind of exposure. There's the 2 ahead of it are my actual first 2 exposures to what I would consider the geek culture. But they were all kind of in that same time frame. So the top 3 like really, really cemented my love for like geekiness and geeky culture and it. So for me, Battlestar Galactica is number 3.
Okay. My number 3, the character's name was Michael Long. And he eventually becomes another person and becomes Michael Knight.
I knew this was on there.
You had to know this was on there.
I knew this trash was on there.
It's not trash. Knight Rider.
No, I liked
Knight Rider with a talking car.
It was okay. I liked it. It was okay. I didn't love it. My dad loved it, but I didn't love it.
It was like the most awesome thing ever. Well, except for my second and my first one. But yeah, no,
I knew it.
I stayed home from, I forget what year it was. I think it was the 4th of July, and my mom was going to go out and see the 4th of July celebration at some like military place, like Lackland or something. And I don't want to go. I want to see Kit and Goliath battle it out. So I stayed home just to watch that. So yeah, that one was like really influential in me because I always wanted to be in that car. And I actually got to sit in that car at Universal Studios. And it was really cool. And to see the light go.
Yeah, I think just about everybody my age and older wanted a car with one of those stupid little LED lights that went back and forth. When really all it is
You just wanted the car to talk to you. It was pretty cool that the car talked to him. But I don't know about being influential to my geekiness.
Just a Battlestar Galactica eye going backwards and forwards.
It was
That's
just
all.
like
It's a
the
Cylon eye.
It's a Cylon.
Just a little bigger.
It's a Cylon transformer. Boom. Mic drop.
That's why we kind of had almost the same thing with the...
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a transformer in the most current version of Knight Rider.
That's not okay.
Transformed into a robot. It wasn't
It's
good.
not okay.
Oh, Team Knight Rider or...
No, the most
Knight
current...
Rider 2000. Oh, yes.
Yeah, he changed it. He could transform.
Yeah. Well, they could transform in Team Knight Rider.
Let's
before,
not,
but that was
we're not
that,
talking.
that
Nobody's talking about Team
We
Knight
gotta
Rider.
do our worst TV shows, and that would be included.
We're not talking about Team Rider. We're not talking about the Knight Rider movie that was shot in San Antonio.
No.
I like that movie.
So your
Yeah.
number 3 is Knight Rider.
My number 3 is Knight Rider, yeah.
I should have known. I mean, I knew it was going to be on the list somewhere, but as we started getting further away, I thought, well, maybe he just forgot about it. Like, maybe it missed the list. Okay, Knight Rider. All right.
Go to number
It's
2.
number
Colin.
3.
Last 2.
Yeah.
Last 2. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one has got to be one of the most influential for a huge majority of people, not just me. Okay? My mom, this is my mom, not my dad. My mom used to let me sneak out of my room and stay up late at night with her and watch this show. And it was definitely all about space and space travel and everything. So for me, the original Star Trek with Kirk and Spock and Bones and Scotty, for me, that's my number 2.
That's your number 2.
That's my number 2.
Okay.
That's my number 2, and you'll see why when I tell you my number 1. You probably won't have even realized that my number 1 was my number 1. I thought Star Trek was going to be my number 1, but when I thought about the other one, but Star Trek, and I almost was like Next Generation because it was pretty influential when I was like older.
Yeah.
Next Generation, like for me, was kind of it with Worf and all of them. But no, it's Kirk and Spock and Bones. Like for me, Star Trek number 2.
Awesome.
For you?
Back in my mid-20s, I had a really influential time that I took care of 3 little boys. And my number 2 is Teletubbies.
Shut your face!
Oh.
Shut your face!
I got so addicted.
No.
You know I did. I got addicted to that show. I would watch it every day. I remember you called me to check up on me, and I have to let you go. Teletubbies is starting.
No, really, he did. Literally, I like calling for him from work on my break. He doesn't want to talk to me because Teletubbies were starting. I was in shock. Couldn't even deal with it. You think Teletubbies is geeky though?
It's
Yeah.
something. I wouldn't
It's
say
something.
geeky.
Yeah, it's weird. It was weird.
They
It
were
was
like
very
aliens.
strange. They cleaned the house and they frolicked in the yard. It was very
They
weird.
ate tubby toast and
Yeah. And
watch TV on each other's tummies.
on each other's tummies, yeah. Weird, honey. That's a weird choice.
But again, and when you've got kids, you tend to watch their shows and get sometimes a little bit too emotionally involved.
Yeah, no, he was
And that's
super...
when I decided
That was when he decided to go back to work.
I went back to work. Yeah.
After that moment, he was like,
Teletubbies
so it did
made-
kind of influence him because he got a job.
Teletubbies made him go back to work. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
All right, well, I'm shocked, and when we're all done and I hear what your number 1 is, I'm going to tell you how shocked I am that a couple of things didn't make your list. If
Okay.
at least one of them doesn't make number 1. All right, number 1 for me,
You're gonna be shocked.
number 1 for me is like number 1 of all time. I remember these episodes in black and white, strange but true, chilling me to the bone, making me wonder what's going on out there. Twilight Zone. For me, Twilight Zone is my number 1. Like, I'm never gonna forget like the pig-faced episode.
Mhm.
I'm never gonna forget where the guy stops time and the bomb is like right there. Has to spend eternity. Like, if he lets it go, everybody dies. Like, just things like that. Just, I don't know. Twilight Zone sticks with me. It just
Mhm.
makes me think of those what ifs. Like, what if we could do that? What if that happened? What if it was like that? You know, very like psychological. For me, Twilight Zone is number 1 on my list.
Oh. Before I get to that, because Folklore says, "LOL, I feel you, Vince. I used to watch it with my niece, Teletubbies." So. So my number 1 is one that you've already said, and it's Star Trek, the original Star Trek, because I thought
I'm in shock. I'm in shock.
Star Trek was like it. Used to watch it with my mom all the time.
Yeah, no, I totally knew that you
Yeah.
did, but I mean, and I figured it would be on your list, but I never figured it would be at number 1.
Number 1. It's
I
most
mean-
influential because it just, so many things that came from there have been made into real things, or concepts on there have been, discovered because of it.
yeah, and you just like it was great. Just thinking about being out there in space and being able to communicate with each other and transporting and like all the things that they came up with. And like Stuart was saying before about Quantum Leap, the same is true with Star Trek. It talked about all of these controversial things. It had all these topics on there. Yeah, I mean, Star Trek. I almost put it at number 1, but for me, Twilight Zone just edged it out just barely because the Twilight Zone was just, you know, strange but true. So I'm going to throw out 2 shows at you, and I'm going to ask you why. Why is there no Twin Peaks on there? Why is there no Firefly on your list? I want to know why those 2 are not on your list, because I'm sorry, those are top 10 influential from you. From 18 years of knowing you, those have got to be top 10.
He didn't think about it then.
Because I think if you would have killed some of the cartoons, if you would have stuck just to live action, maybe those would have been on there.
Those would probably have been on there.
For sure, I think Twin Peaks and Firefly. I thought for sure those were on your list. I was afraid of Knight Rider, but I was pretty sure that would be on there. But
yeah, it had to have been Knight Rider.
I thought awesome. X-Files, Twin Peaks, and Firefly were going to be like top 5. For sure.
Twin Peaks was really good, yeah. But I think when I watched it originally, I don't know that I got everything that was...
So since
I don't think that I got everything. Since I got older...
Trust me, I don't think anybody got everything.
Nobody got it.
Unless you watched the 2 movies afterwards and then you went, oh, but the series was like, what is going on?
Yeah, my parents used to watch that one too, and I was like, I ain't watching that. So if we're talking more current stuff, here's another one that, since you picked some current things, I'm surprised is not on your list. What about Fringe?
Yeah, no, that should have been on my list.
If you were picking modern stuff, Fringe should have been on your list for sure. Fringe was on my honorable mentions because I wasn't sure how forward.
Fringe, that would probably have replaced Teletubbies.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Fringe,
how can you replace Teletubbies, Vince?
And then, so I was gonna ask you about this one because
because it's when I went crazy.
Yeah.
When I was watching Teletubbies.
I thought about putting this one on my list, and I wanted to know what you 2 guys thought of it. It was definitely honorable mention. It wasn't top 10, but I was trying to think back to like my childhood and like what influenced me and what resonated with me. What about Fantasy Island? Because he was always kind of like
I used to watch that a lot
manipulative
too. Yes.
and like things would mysteriously happen. So it was kind of geeky in the way that it was you almost felt like the island, and maybe this was because I was a kid, but I always felt like maybe the island was magical, or he had like secret powers or something, because he always like manipulated things and made things come to pass and like made the story work out. So I kind of thought that one was geeky. And then the other one...
So he's probably evil because he was Khan.
I did think he was kind of evil. He looks kind of evil. Like, just, he looks shady. And then the other one I kind of thought about was Charlie's Angels, too. I grew up watching them with Bosley and everything, but I didn't know how geeky that was. Like, it was kind of my first... We watched a lot of the James Bond movies, but there was not a James Bond show. So Charlie's Angels was, like, the closest thing I had to, like...
Steel.
Yeah, my parents used to watch that. They liked that.
And later he became James Bond.
Yeah, they liked Remington Steele. Yeah,
that was the reason he didn't become James Bond quicker, because he was Remington Steele.
Yeah, yeah, that show was pretty good. Yeah. But for me, I like Charlie's Angels, like Farrah Fawcett and them. I don't know.
What was the other one? Scarecrow and Mrs.
Yes, Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, I liked that show too. I like those kind of spy.
That's another honorable mention there.
Yeah, I like those kind of spy shows. And then I had, like I said earlier, Jeopardy and the $6 Million Man on mine. And then I actually had Lois and Clark as an honorable mention, because I didn't think we were going that far forward, or I definitely would have talked about Smallville too, because Smallville for me was one of the ones. Was
Very
like
cool,
an all-time good. So.
No, I dug that.
So you have any honorable mentions, Vince?
I think you covered a lot of what I had already.
We did grow up in the same time period.
I do actually have one written down here.
Oh, okay.
Mask.
That's a movie.
No,
he's talking about the knockoff Transformers show
with a flying car.
What? I've never even heard of that.
It was the coolest thing ever.
That's not cool.
But like people actually.
Hey, what about Alf? Does Alf count?
I was thinking about Alf because one of the things that are like you were talking about an alien,
Mork and
Mork
Mindy.
and Mindy. I was like, she's talking about Alf. I was like, yeah. It was more of a comedy sitcom,
Yeah.
but it was a little geeky in the fact that he was an
geeky.
alien.
I mean, Howard the Duck is geeky, and that's pretty comedic.
What about the Adam West Batman series? Not
I
sure
never
if
watched
it was
it.
mentioned.
I never watched it.
I watched it, but it was real camp. I mean,
I've
we
seen,
watched
like,
them
some-
after they originally came on because, you know.
But I've seen some clips on YouTube that I watched recently, just, you know. But no, when I was growing up, I never watched it. I don't know why. I don't know if it wasn't in syndication or, because I didn't have cable when we were growing up, so we only got to watch whatever was on. I used to watch the Monkeys. Hey, we're the Monkeys.
Yeah, well, that was another thing I was going to ask you guys. Why no music shows? No MTV? Come on.
I didn't have MTV.
That's
The
why.
only time I ever saw music videos was my mom would let me stay up. You could watch music videos at 1 a.m. on Friday night into Saturday morning on like ABC or something. They did an hour of music videos. And so that was the only way like that I didn't totally get beat up. I got beat up less at school than I normally would because we got to see a little bit of the music videos and I knew a little bit about what that was. But yeah, no, I never had any of that stuff growing up.
That's interesting.
It's probably more influent.
What about that show Kids in the Hall that you watched on
Oh, yeah.
cable?
That was really funny.
Not
I
geeky,
wouldn't consider
it
it
wasn't
geeky. I don't consider it geeky.
I never saw that either, but you
It was
used to
real
talk about
funny.
it all the time. Real funny.
I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing your head.
That seems like something a geek would do.
Yeah, probably.
Squish, squish. It is flat.
I never saw that either, but he talks about it all the time.
I'm number one. I'm number one. No, you're not. You're number flat.
See, it's interesting listening to you guys because I grew up in a different country. We got completely different TV.
Yeah, like what are some of yours?
Well, if I was going to go through, Doctor Who would be one.
So my dad, I watched the Tom Baker Doctor Who, but it just never was my thing, which I'm sure a lot of geeks are like aghast. But
Yeah, well, again, Doctor Who hasn't been prevalent in this country for years.
no, a lot of people watch it on the BBC because now we can get the BBC.
Yeah, I know, but
so
back then, and see, for
it
me,
was on PBS. You could watch Tom Baker on PBS.
see, for me, there would be music. The Australian equivalent of music TV, which was a live show. It was called Countdown, and the only reason I watched it was it came on directly after Doctor Who. And in the beginning, I was like, and then when I got to like teen years, I was like, holy crap, this is good.
Oh,
They've
really?
got live bands and they talk, and this is,
So what you were watching Tom Baker, right?
yeah.
Doctor Who, yeah. The scarf was great.
And see, for
The
my
Daleks were great. They were so cheesy.
for my superhero, it would be the Inventions of Superman because again, I'm from the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, see, and I never got to see. I never saw those either.
that was like get up early in the morning and watch it at 6 a.m. when TV first came on. It was like, oh, watch this.
Yeah.
On a black and
Super
white
Friends.
on a black and white TV.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my family had black and white TV until I was 12. And there was the technology, we just couldn't afford it. They were more expensive. So we still had black and white. So I didn't even know.
Now the young kids, they can just watch it all on demand. You
Yeah. Yeah, they don't even know what it's like
don't even know.
having to turn it with the wrench because the knob fell off.
Well, it's like where I used to live. We were in country area.
So you
and
had the foil and
no, well, we had like 2 TV channels. And what we used to do, my dad put up this huge aerial, and you used to literally have to physically move this big aerial, and then we get another 2 channels, but we wouldn't get the original 2.
Me too. It was on the big pole and you were outside and my mom would be in the living room, my dad would be at the back door, and then I would be on the side of the house and would be turning it and he'd be like, stop, wait, too far, go back, wait, no.
So we'd always have to do it, we'd have to be quiet, and before my dad put up the big aerial, we'd have to climb on the tin roof of the house
Oh my
to try and move it.
Wow.
And I was like, you'd try to sneak up there to watch some cartoon show you'd want to watch it. You'd be watching it and you go, come in and say, you can barely see that, it's all snow. But we can kind
I
of.
can kind of see it, I'm watching it. Yeah, I remember that.
So, we talked about our shows.
So TV, yay.
So, those are top.
A lot of good
That
memories
may
from
change
TV.
next week, but after we talked a little bit.
I don't think for me it would change. For me, I am where I am. I definitely have a list of cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
We could definitely do a top 10 list of cartoons. And we already know Transformers would be, and Thundercats would be on mine. For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
They would be on my top 10. But yeah.
You'll have to wait for that. But thanks for checking us out. Really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please subscribe to us. And tell other people about us and let them know. We're here in San Antonio, but we talk about stuff that happens everywhere.
All kinds of stuff.
So thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and that's Stuart.
Geek out, SA.
No outro.
No outro. Sorry. Next week. Bye.
Bye, Felicia.